Hey guys, I'm Glenn from Go RV Marine here at the Sandringham Yacht Club. I'm here today to demonstrate the Rainman water maker. In our range we have three different models. We have a 12 volt, a 230 volt system and also a standalone petrol which is driven by a Honda motor. Today I'm going to be demonstrating the 230 volt system with the high output. The high output makes between 100 to 140 litres an hour, so this is the biggest system that we have. The 12 volt version will do a maximum of 24 to 34 litres an hour in that, and both the 230 volt and the petrol driven one will make anywhere from 50 litres an hour to 140 litres an hour depending on the membrane system that you put with it. This is the high pressure pump that drives the RO membrane, which is in this case here. Pretty simple process. You have an intake hose which goes overboard. It also has a pre-filter that clips onto that before it goes overboard, just to stop any weed from getting into the system. So that drops down into the water like so. We then have the power cord, which is here, which gets plugged into our 240 volt supply. Then all we need to do is connect the membranes. Now in this case with the membranes, we have a high pressure hose. That there gets connected to the back of the pump through a quick connect. In this case we also have a green hose, which is our brine hose. That's where all the wastewater goes overboard. So in the purpose of using it as a portable system, we'll have that go overboard. Just there like that. So that's where all our wastewater goes. The white hose that's in here is our product hose. That's where all the fresh water comes out of. That's going to go into our deck filler here after we've got it running. So at the moment I'm just going to put that there like so. Now to start the unit, it's quite simple. There's an on-off switch here and there's a pressure gauge in the middle of the unit here. So I'm going to turn that on. So at the moment we've got 100% of the water going through the system coming out the brine hose, which is this hose here. Okay, so we come over to the membrane. You can notice at the moment nothing's coming out the product hose. What we need to do now is we need to increase the pressure in this gauge up to 800 psi. To do that, we turn the handle here slowly until the pressure on the gauge comes up to 800 psi. Okay, so that's set now. We'll give it a couple of seconds. What's happening is now that the pressure has increased in the membranes, we've got the water being forced through the membranes. About 80% of the water that goes into the system is coming out overboard as our brine, which is the hose there, the green hose. And about 20% is coming out as fresh water, which is that there. Okay, so now we've got the system running and we've got the water pumping through the system, through the filters and coming out through the product hose. All you need to do now is taste the water. It tastes like nothing, and put it into your deck filler. Now to turn it off and pack it away, there's a couple of things we need to do. A, we need to return the valve back to zero. If we shut the system down under pressure, you run the risk of destroying the membranes. So it's always good practice to wind the valve back to zero. 100% of the water is now coming out the brine hose and none will be passing through the membranes and out the product hose. Over to the switch. Turn the system off and that's your water made for the day. Okay, now although the Rainman was originally designed to be portable and set up on the deck of the boat and used how it is demonstrated here today, it also can be installed into the boat. To install the system into the boat, What I do for my customers is I tee it in before a salt deck wash pump if it's available, or some customers may even have through-hole fittings, spare ones on board that you can use. Two things that you need to have as an install kit, which we can supply, is you need a three-way valve on the supply line, which is the intake hose. The three-way valve on that is used for doing a freshwater flush or pickling the system. And with that, you need to think about a three-way valve on the product hose, because if it's fully installed and you have the product hose connected hard to the freshwater tank, you need to be able to get rid of the pickling solution before you start putting fresh water into your tank. Okay, so we've used our water maker, we've been away for 3 or 4 weeks, we've used it every second day. Now it's time to put it away because we're not going to use it for a couple of months. What we need to do is we need to pickle the system. We need 10 litres of fresh water that's made off the system. We can't use town water because town water has chlorine in it, and chlorine will affect any RO membrane. So I've already pre-made my 10 litres of water from the system. What we need to do is put 5 tablespoons of pickling solution into that 10 litres of water. So we want to make the pickling solution dissolve in the water. It doesn't take very long. That's about all it takes. Now, to pickle the system, we take the intake hose, take off the strainer, we put the intake hose into the 10 litres of water. Now, when we're pickling the system, we don't need to touch the valve. We're only pickling the saltwater side of the membrane. You've got to remember that the freshwater side of the membrane is pure and the water on that side won't foul. So this is going to go through within about 30 seconds. There's no salt content in here and we're not removing anything and nothing is passing through the filter. So 100% of the water going into the system at the moment will be coming out the brine hose. So we've got the intake hose in the bucket now. We turn the system on. All the water will be coming out through the brine hose. So what we're doing is we're rinsing the system with salt water. We're going to cut it just short of the bucket being dry. And that's it. The system's now pickled. It's right to stay in that pickled state for up to 12 months. So there's no more maintenance within that 12 months that you now need to do with this system. So I'm going to finish the demonstration here. I hope you've found this informative. Very easy system to use, very easy system to maintain.